So you may be asking yourself, I left religion, so why do I still feel like I'm doing life wrong? In this video, I'm going to show you why you feel that way and what to do to transcend those feelings and to alchemize those emotions to use for your benefit. So let's jump right into today's episode. So listen, you may feel, though, that you, for example, you hesitate with making decisions. And yes, I'm looking at notes to keep me on track. You second guess all of your decisions. Did I say the right thing? Did I do the right thing? Did I go to the right place? You may find yourself in perhaps social settings where you may feel uneasy because you're unsure of yourself. See, that's what religion does. Religion causes you to be always unsure of yourself. Being unsure of yourself goes against who you are, your true essence, as a Black woman, because you are the original woman. How can you be, as the original woman, how can you be unsure of yourself? Let's keep going before I get ahead of myself. So, navigating those feelings, though, navigating and asking yourself the question, why do I still feel this uncertainty about me? Navigating those feelings is very necessary for you to reclaim your identity and liberation beyond religious programming. Because in your navigation, what's going to happen is that you're going to understand why those feelings are present, but more importantly, what to do about them. Okay? So where do these feelings come from? Where do they come from? Religion made you think that you needed someone or something out there to tell you how to exist. Religion conditioned you to believe that you needed to be scared into following some rule book to help you be divine and civil. Okay? Also, religion conditioned you to believe that this God, so-called God that is divine, had to be appeased, had to be worshipped repeatedly, over and over and over again. Religion made you forget about your own autonomy, causing you to question your own power and your ability to live beyond a construct. Okay? That is why you are feeling that way, because all of those things, those 4 things that I just listed, that list is not exhaustive. But many of the programming and dogmatic ideas that come from religion will fit into one of those categories. That is why you are feeling that way. All of those things, again, that I just listed, it helped to create an identity that you have been operating from. So again, if you, and I say this all the time, if you have not taken time to reconnect, to, first of all, unravel the dogma that is playing out in your nervous system, then of course you feel like you're doing something wrong, like you're living life wrong, like you're doing life wrong, because the dogma is still in operation. When you ascend, when you transcend beyond that, you are in a sense hitting the reset button to return to your original essence. So here are some things that I want to read to you. Here's some things that I need for you to know, that I really, really need for you to know right now. In ancient times, okay, and yes, before your mind even goes there, ancient times has very much to do with 2025 or whenever it is that you're watching this. In ancient times, the Black woman was the only woman not born underneath a construct, specifically a religious construct, specifically a patriarchal construct. The Black woman was the only woman that was not born underneath that. Okay? In ancient times, it was the Black woman that was sought after. People sought the Black woman's wisdom, her wisdom, on what order, so to speak, and what civilization should look like, because the Black woman was the standard. It was the Black woman that was revered. She was respected because she was the standard of divinity. Because she existed, divinity existed because of her essence. So I'm going to say that again. Divinity was in existence because your ancient Black mothers were. Divinity exists because you are. That energy, that essence does not go away. That energy does not go away. We know by science. Science is actually catching up to spirituality. But we know with science, because some people just say, well, prove it by science. Okay. Science tells us that energy, it doesn't die. It just changes its form. It's still in existence. So that energy of your Black ancient mothers still exists. And because you are a woman of the diaspora, it is still existing in your veins. It is still very present. It is still very present, which I want to say this to you. This is why I don't want you to view your religious experience as a waste of time. I don't care how long you spent in it. I don't care if you are just leaving, you left 2 months ago, or you've been away from it 20 years. It was not a waste of time because that energy, that essence of you did not go away. It is still there, waiting to be uncovered. All right. So again, what does all of that I read about your ancient Black mothers, what does that have to do with today? What does that have to do with right now? You hold the memory of your ancient Black mothers in your veins. I just said that. You carry that energy in your blood. That energy is still here because you are here. Excuse me. So, the next time you feel like you're doing life wrong, here's what I want you to do. Before I go into this, I want you to go to the link in the description of this video, and I want you to sign up, reserve your spot for my complimentary workshop called the Ascension Workshop. It will be live. Again, it's complimentary. It will be live Saturday, November 22nd at 3 p.m. Central Standard Time. Just click on the link. It'll give you more information of what we're going to be talking about in the workshop. And you will, as soon as you'll put in your name, you'll put in your email, and as soon as you put it in, you'll be given the link, okay, to hold on to for November 22nd. Okay. So now, what are you going to do the next time you feel like you're doing life wrong? I want you to ask yourself why. I want you to ask yourself why. Does life feel wrong because you see something in your life that you want to change? Think about that. Does life feel wrong because you see something in your life or you see someone in your life that you don't like? That's something, yes, it could be a person, it could be a business, it could be a job, it could be a house, it could be where you live, it could be your car, it could be a relationship. Again, it could be people, it could be anything. Or perhaps there's multiple things in your life that you don't like. These are just examples that I'm giving you. As you're asking yourself, why do I feel like I'm doing life wrong? Do you feel like you're doing life wrong because life beyond religion is unknown? It is perfectly fine. I don't need to tell you that. This is just a reminder. It is perfectly fine. If you are saying to yourself, yes, I've left religion, but this life outside of this religious identity, I don't know how to do this. This feels different. This feels unknown. I feel uneasy. It is okay to acknowledge that. In your acknowledgement is the alchemy. All right. So, do you feel like you're doing life wrong because you don't know what direction to take? These are some examples when you ask yourself, why do I feel like I'm doing life wrong? These are examples of what could come up as you're giving yourself the space and the time to answer that question or to ask that question and to actually listen for what comes up. This is when and I'm getting ahead of myself, but I'm going to say it here. This is when connection with your nervous system and your body is so important, which is what I talk about all the time. All right. So, do you feel like you're doing life wrong because you actually want somebody else to tell you what to do? Religion programs you to do that. Because remember what religion is. Religion is a construct that has you looking outside of yourself for everything, for validation, for permission, for redemption, for everything. So are you feeling like you're doing life wrong because you want someone to tell you what to do? Because you don't believe that it is natural for you to have autonomy and sovereignty in every single part of your life. Because you don't believe, this is an example that I'll talk about more later, because you don't believe that you have the power to speak and shape your life, literally. That you have magic in your voice, you have magic in your body, you have magic in your hands, you have magic in your feet, in your legs, in your entire essence. There is literal spiritual technology that you can use to shift your life with your words. Because you are embracing your autonomy. You're embracing your magic, your ancient magic, your ancient spiritual practices. Do you feel like you're doing life wrong because you don't believe, I got ahead of myself, because you don't believe that you can have autonomy in your life, because you don't believe that you have that type of power that exists in your essence? So, what is asking yourself, why do I feel like I'm doing life wrong, along with all those examples that will probably come up? If not some of them, all of them, maybe one or two, but one of those questions, as you ask yourself that question, one of those questions, perhaps even not exact, but they're going to fall into one of those categories, that's going to come up. All right. So asking yourself the question, why, what does that do for you? It helps you remain steady and relaxed. Why? Because you're asking yourself that question, You're connecting with your own energy. You're connecting with your own spirit. You're connecting with your own body again. And you're getting in contact with your nervous system, your operating system. That's what asking yourself that question is going to do. Okay. So the question puts you in a state of awareness. Awareness of what? Awareness of your body, awareness of your frequency, awareness of your breath, awareness of your thoughts and what you're thinking, awareness of your thoughts to the point where then you start to ask, are these thoughts even mine? Or are these thoughts coming from a story that I adopted, a story that was given to me? Also, asking yourself that question, it produces observation. Observation of what you're feeling, observation of your body, of the thoughts, of your breath, of your frequency. What does observation do? It removes the panic and overwhelm that fear brings. Because if you're asked, when you leave religion, you navigate your life and you're still feeling like you're doing something wrong or you're living life wrong, that is just a product of that dogmatic of fear from religious dogma. That is the root, is the fear. So that observation, you asking that question, you observing, it removes the panic and overwhelm that fear can bring. Observation allows you to reconnect. Once again, with that ancient wisdom that you hold in your cells. The ancient wisdom that allows you to access guidance that you need to resolve any type of challenge and transcend any type of challenge right now and beyond. So when I talk about your ancient Black mothers, no, again, I emphasize it is very much relevant for today because you're literally accessing wisdom that you can apply to your life today, right now. So I want you to leave me your takeaways in the comment section. I also want you to sign up and reserve your spot for my complimentary Ascension workshop on Saturday, November 22nd, 3 p.m. Central Standard Time. If you would like to work with me one-on-one, I am still taking one-on-one clients, okay? You are still able to book your session through my website, unleashedalchemy.com. Also check the description link because there is another complimentary resource that I have for you where you can download a workbook. I think it's about 15 pages that will take you through 10 categories. And these 10 categories are ways that religious dogma can still be operating in your life. And this workbook will help you to identify those religious dogmatic blind spots that you may not even be aware of that are still operating in your life and what to do about it. Okay. So I look forward to seeing you and connecting with you during the workshop on Saturday, November 22nd. I'm excited about it. So again, share me your takeaways and thank you to all the new subscribers. Thank you for sharing this content. All right. This is regardless of how things look. This is an exciting time for Black women who are untangling from dogma, and you're ready to unleash your alchemy. You're ready to embrace your essence as the original woman. It's a powerful time that I feel that sometimes I cannot articulate. So if that sounds like you, if that is you, you are in the right place. All right. This is Unleashed Alchemy. Until next time, be sovereign.